Oh, hello. We are back to do our story. All right. I was able to pencil in some cards from yesterday's shuffle and pull. So I penciled them in and I changed some of the words because I just didn't feel like they fit. So I changed the coworker to ladder. I changed the child to footsteps. And what was the other one I changed? Oh, I changed swap to exchange. But I think the symbol I have on there is a well-known brand, so I'll have to probably change the symbol. And then I penciled in the skunks card. And I penciled in the fan card, which is up there. And I penciled in the footsteps and the ladder. So it's all coming along. I noticed in this last row here, we've got all animals. We've got the facing your fears, the halfway, the rodent, and the skunks card all in the same row. I thought that was super cute. Then we also have the turned back with the red flags. And we've got the warning label over there as our golly, what card was that? Was that the splitting of the deck card? I think so. And then, of course, as you know, if I have the one and I see the next, then I bring it out. And that's what happened with the fellowship card. So be mindful of any fellowships or any organizations or any people who all think the same way. Could be from a church or a temple or some kind of structure, or it could be people who even meet in a church. I know a lot of the initial anonymous groups, they'll meet in churches. And I know their 12-step program relies heavy on religious practice and giving it all up to God and whatnot. So they could be included in that as well, but just saying. Okay, so we have a fan starting off the reading with some water on it. A little spillage there. And the fan was part of my original deck, but it got lost somehow. And I'm not going to mention where it is because I'm not seeing that card on the table. So it doesn't matter. But we have the fan. Now fans blow air, they circulate air, it could be a fan of some sort, like you really like the person, or maybe this person really likes someone else. Maybe this person is a fan of the fact that this person in the next card is kind of put on someone's path as a crossroads. So the person is put on the path, and however you choose to treat this person, then that is what your next karma or your next path is going to entail. So if you're horrible to this person, or you see that they're naive, or they appear to be so happy-go-lucky, and you take advantage of them, then your karma is not so great. Things will end up going a little bit wrong in your life. You'll end up being confused. Your success will take a tumble. You could get sick, anything of that nature, things that are going to cost you money of some sort. But on the other hand, like if you make the person cry or whatnot, taking advantage. So on the other hand, the same person, if you come across them and they seem a little naive or a little bit, they may even appear dingy or stupid to you, and you're like, oh, this is like an easy target for somebody, but you choose to be a decent person, a decent human being, and you treat them kindly and with respect, then of course your life is going to see some blessings and flourish and positivity and success and stuff of that nature. There are people out there. They're earth angels, folks. They come across as an easy target, but the payoff is incredibly not worth it. So you could be questioning that whole process, or you could be, or whomever's doing this, or whomever is this person put on other people's paths, could be questioning the process or the fact that it even exists, or is that even something? Like maybe this is why someone is unable to love even though they want to love. Maybe it's because of all the poor choices they made in regards to other people, and they treated other people poorly. Maybe that's why they are unable to love. Maybe someone who is the person who is the earth angel and is unable to love because someone is circulating that around, that this person is not someone who even loves other people. They're not sweet at all. They believe in ghosts and spirits, right? Perhaps that's happening to somebody. Somebody is circulating some kind of false storyline. You may be questioning that, like, why is it that every time I want to fall in love with somebody, I'm not able to do so? I feel like I'm just being caged. I feel like I'm being isolated. I feel like, like a bird in a cage, basically. Like all I can do is just sit on my perch and fly around in these little, in the bird cage. So I'm going to knock it down off the chains. But do you see how it's all open here? There's no other kind of crossbars. So any kind of bird that's in there, even the heart for that matter, can come out anytime it wants to. So if you're this person in that stage, once you are able to recognize the fact that something is circulating, even if it's some kind of craft of some sort, when you recognize it's there, you're free from it. You can carry on the way that you want to. You're no longer bound. You're no longer stuck in this cage. Now, for the other people who cause harm on others, this could be the place that you're going to find yourself. You're empty. You thought you'd have some kind of fulfillment and be taken care of. You would have some sweet, sweet situation from your ancestors or their ancestors or the spirits that promised you all of this. But you've got to question, at what price? Right? How much air or oxygen are you really going to have at that point when you decide to be that kind of person? It's suffocating when you treat others poorly. So we've got our card over here with the dog. The little dog is facing the big dog, facing their fears with love, which is a message in itself. So people who do wrong by other people, there are many reasons why they could be doing that. I'm not really sure. Psychologically speaking, I know hurt people will hurt others. Spiritually speaking, I learned this in the last few years, that there is some forms of craft, as we've mentioned, and that can cause people to act in certain ways that really aren't like them. Like, I know if people are under the influence of drugs or alcohol, that could cause them to treat people in certain kind of ways that they originally would not probably treat that person. Perhaps this person is, as we mentioned, in part of that fellowship where they do have the 12-step program, and they do have to consider and ask themselves, where is it that I've hurt people along the way? And now I need to go and you know, make amends with this person, make amends with the ghosts of their past, so to speak. And they're going to have to face going face to face with these people that they've hurt. And they're going to have to face those fears of being rejected by these people. But they're going to have to go and give them some sort of love, as far as an apology, as far as an acknowledgement, as far as some kind of something. Now, being this type of person could make them feel a little bit alien. They're not used to it. That's not who they are. Because they've been this other person for so long. Or they could be not from the continent of your origin or where you're from. They could be from a different place. Like let's just say someone lives in Canada or India, for that matter. It could be someone from the US who is in their country from the US. So it just depends on where you are in reference to where this person can be from. It could be someone you're living in the US and they're just totally different nationality, even though the US is a huge melting pot of everybody. I don't know. It could just be another race other than yourself, if we're just going to make it basic. This person who is this earth angel person who is put on the path of other people in order to be their last kind of test before their karma takes place could be viewed as not being from this world, someone who is outer worldly. Maybe they've had to endure all kinds of things from all kinds of people, and they're being looked at as, wow, you're not typical, you're not normal, you're not from here because you've endured a whole lot of pain, right? So now this person could be a fan of this person, realizing how much stuff this person's been put through, and realizing this person, even though they cry and they sit on the side of the road and they're like, I know this is my purpose, or I'm trying to figure out that this is my purpose, they seriously don't appear to be from here. They're just unique. I don't need to drill that in anymore, I guess. So we've got this unknown state. Now this person is a place of like, I just don't know what to do with this information. I don't know what to even do with this person. I don't even know what's to come next. Now this person could be in your workspace. We've got the ladder there. Ladders are used for work, right? They're used to go up and down in order to be able to reach higher levels of things. That could be the purpose of this earth angel coming into your world and being on your path, maybe to help you make better decisions and choices. It could be a coworker, someone you work with. Oftentimes you need help with a ladder. You want someone to keep it stable at the bottom. So it could be a coworker. With the footsteps, it could be someone who's following in your footsteps. It could be someone who is younger than you. It could be a mentee and you are a mentor to this person. It literally could be someone's child. It could be your child. It could be the child of your coworker. They all could be part of this storyline. Then we've got copy. Either this person, this child, is trying to copy or emulate this person who is their co-worker or higher up. This person could be a doppelganger. That was the original name of that card, was the doppelganger. Actually, it was twinning, and then it was doppelganger, and then it was copy. So it could be someone who looks like you, who wants to act like you, who wants to copy your footsteps, be in the same places that you have been in, do the same things that you have done. And this could be all going on in the workplace. Now there's red flags. You want to turn back. It's partially uncovered with the little pup there who's partially in the covers, getting cuddly. Are you in or are you out? Considering the red flags, it's like, come on, Whoever this child is, whoever this copycat is, it could be someone who wants to be just like their parent. And maybe those two even work together. But whatever they're doing, whatever the copycat's doing, oh, copycat. Maybe that would be cuter if I put copycat. Anywho, then whatever it is that they're doing, they're making the wrong choice. They are a huge red flag. They are seeing huge red flags on their choices, or they could just blatantly be ignoring the red flags. Perhaps they're halfway out of an illusion. Maybe they're under some kind of illusion or behaviors that they're kind of not familiar to, that isn't really like them. Right? There's an illusion of being blocked. We've got the beaver dam there. With the caged heart, it's an illusion of being a caged heart. It's an illusion that you can't love. It's an illusion that you can't get out of the situation that you're in. It's all an illusion. Someone is pulling the strings behind the scenes. It could be this copycat, it could be this child, or it could be a coworker, or this person could be all of the above and incorporate all of those things. It could be someone who wants to be just like, it could be your own child wanting to be just like you, and you guys work together. It could be that. Whatever it is, this person is causing this illusion, trying to block something, and is trying to swap whatever crap it is that they have coming in their direction, whatever crap that they've been witnessed or supervised doing. Someone was supervised, somebody saw what was going on. They've made a mess. It's attracting stink. It's attracting flies. It's attracting attention. Whether they just tried to dump and walk away. Whether, I don't see a bag here, so it's not like they cleaned it up. So it's just sitting there in the grass. They've relieved themselves, or they allowed their dog to relieve themselves, and they're just dumping on somebody's lawn. Completely disrespectful, right? So maybe that they made this illusion of this block. Now they're trying to swap it out and make it and reverse it in some kind of way. And make it seem like it wasn't something that was done. Maybe it wasn't working out the way they had wanted to. Maybe they were being found out. And now maybe they're trying to reverse it so that way it's not such a big mess. With the boomerang, that's the reverse. It's coming back on them. Whatever crap they created, it's coming back. It's being illuminated by the sun. Card is going to have the bright yellow and orange, so it's going to be the similar colors as far as the turn back is concerned. So it's highly illuminating the fact that this has happened. They've been sneaky. They've been collecting. They haven't had any fear at all. We've got the rodent there. They've got real squirrely behavior. There's a rat in the mix. There was a time I was out on a walk. I don't know if you can even see it, but this squirrel completely scaled the side of the building. Granted, it was stucco, but still, it was like able just to crawl up the wall with nobody's problem. Scaled the wall and then took a leap into a tree like 4 feet, 3 feet, 4 feet away, and it had no fear. It knew that it was going to land. It was, would you call that arrogance? Would you call that someone completely sure of themselves? Of course. So that took that leap, made it into the tree. Maybe this person has that same mentality. Like they were just so full of themselves that they really thought whatever it was that they were doing, that it was going to work. This person could be a siren. They could have been working with a siren. They could have been working with someone who has red hair. They could have been working with someone who has the ability to lure people in by their voice and the words that they say. They could have been doing this in order to get some kind of funding here. Maybe they're a lazy individual and they don't want to have to work very hard, so they were just trying to get as many people as they could together in order to bring in the dough, so to speak, right? They could have went after somebody's better half, because they there was a TV series and they go, "Oh, you're my lobster." I think it was from the Friends show. And I don't know if it's like a real thing, but lobsters, from what I understand, it's like that's your person. When you find your person, that's your person. It could also be symbolizing, wanting lobster in the morning. Heck, I want to eat lobster in the morning. I don't particularly myself care for lobster. I don't know why that is, but it's not like such a big deal for me. I would much rather have a steak than a lobster any day. A certain steak, not just any steak. I don't know why I just had the thought of, you don't order fish from a steak restaurant, right? You don't order I was gonna say, I don't know what I'm trying to say. I don't know. But I know that there's that old adage. It's like you don't go to a steakhouse and order chicken, or you don't go to a lobster house and order a steak. It's like, I don't remember what that was. I don't remember. If I think about it, then I'll make a comment and I'll post it. But if you're going to go to a steakhouse, go to a steakhouse to order a steak. If you're going to go to a place that specializes in lobster or crab or something, then get lobster or crab. You don't get a steak. I don't know what that is. But usually it's steak and eggs, and I think that's why that even came to mind. Oh, look, toast. We've got toast here. And then we've got our, they're fish, right? Or mermaid's fish. Half fish, half people. Maybe someone was making, this is like completely in a different storyline, but maybe someone was making money eating, serving siren at a lobster place with eggs. I don't know. But whomever, let's go back to our story. Whomever this child co-worker copycat is, they really wanted to have lobster in the morning. They wanted to have the money like that. They wanted to have their eggs the way they wanted them, any kind of way they wanted. Their shell has been broken, and now they're in the frying pan, and now they're being called over to another side. We've got Red Rover, Red Rover. They were called over to another team, and now that whole scenario, we've got our Red Rover, Red Rover. I don't know if you played that game, but they call your name. One team calls your name, and you're called from the other team, and you've got to run through, and you've got to break the chains of their hands being held together. And if you break their hands or their arms together, then you can stay on your team. But if you get stuck and you can't get through, then you have to stay on their team, whether you want to or not. That's the name of the game. And whoever side doesn't have anyone left on their team, that's the losing team. But then on the other hand, now everyone is on the other team. So, who really loses, I guess. But if it's not a team that you originated on, and it's not a team that you want to be a part of, then I guess it would be a bad scenario. And on the other hand, if you're the last person standing on your own team, is that so bad? Because you were loyal to self. But there's been some kind of cutoff here, and someone's been defending themselves. Maybe this person broke through the chains, because we've got our caged heart with the broken chain up there, and they are able to stand on their own team. It's our little skunk card. Remember I was going to say I'm going to show the little tail because that's the skunk, what it did to us when I was on the walk. So, having this protection or needing to protect yourself or threatening to protect yourself, that whole scenario has been cut. It's like you're not going to, maybe this other side or this team or whatever is making this discovery who's got something uncovered, maybe they got whomever is the cause of this right where they want them in this frying pan situation, and maybe that whole thing is making it so you don't have to continue to feel like you have to defend yourself or protect yourself. I don't know. Use your own discernment because that's kind of important. We've got our seahorse over there, which is the male seahorse, the belly like a D. The male seahorse will mate with his significant other for the duration of their life. Again, with the lobster, some similar scenario. But in this case, if the female seahorse knows that the male is sick or unwell, the female seahorse will find another mate. So that kind of, they break up and she takes off and he perishes. And that's unfortunate for him because now he's sick and alone, and that's sad. I see him looking right at the goat, which is also the Capricorn card, the greatest of all time. Maybe the male seahorse is the fan of this earth angel. The seahorse could be looking at the goat. Maybe the goat made him unwell, considering I don't see the female seahorse here on the table. She's nowhere to be found. She must have taken off because he got sick, and now he's looking at the Capricorn. Like, why in the world? What's going on? Why are you looking at me like that? This Capricorn could be the siren with red hair. I see a little blue or purple in her hair, so maybe she likes to change the color of her hair. This Capricorn, the greatest of all time, comes with that warning label. It's kind of like the tag on your mattress or on your pillow that says don't remove this under penalty of the law, unless you're the owner of this said item. And it's like usually you see the warning label and you just leave it there because you don't want any part of it. It's like, really, are there going to be people who are going to come around and assess if people have the label on their mattress or not? I guess once it's in your house, it shouldn't matter. But I guess that's the business or the company selling those products that need to keep those labels on the pillow or the mattresses. They're the ones that have to leave it on there. Maybe it's the warning label, whatever's inside that, which would be kind of sketch because your face is on there. And your body is on there and your skin is your greatest organ. So it's like, if there's a warning label on there, shouldn't we just not use the product? Well, that's a rabbit hole. All right. The seahorse could have been trying to tell other people with the fellowship there that this Capricorn is needing a warning label, that yeah, they may appear to be the greatest of all time, but maybe there's something lurking under the surface of this Capricorn or this greatest of all time. I know that when you go to like the petting zoos, those goats tend to want to nibble on whatever it is that you have on your purse, and if you've got snacks in your pocket, they're going to try to rip that pocket and get whatever it is that's in there, right? They're going to nibble on stuff that might be hanging from your purse, your person. They just like to chew, and they just like to eat, and they just like to take what's yours. That could be the warning label that we are looking at. It could be the goat is trying to tell other people, maybe in a fellowship, about somebody needing a warning label. They could be saying this about the earth angel. They could be saying, this earth angel is causing issues and problems for other people and is knocking them off their path or whatnot, when it's actually it's that person's choices that caused it for them to be knocked off their path. It was their choice to do whatever it is that they did in order to cause their life to change in a different direction than what it was, versus the earth angel or the person who's on the path. And they could have gone to a fellowship or a church or some kind of temple or some kind of organization and tried to tell them this person is doing unexplained things, doing unknown things that we don't know about at work, and they're altering the footsteps of these people. We've got the fan in the corner, and then we've got the skunks in this corner, and that could be like someone is a fan of whatever it is that's going on, or a fan of making this person have to defend themselves or protect themselves. We've got the facing your fears with love in one corner with the siren. So maybe someone needs to, whatever the siren is concocting, whatever it is that they are designing or creating, or what kind of illusions that they're making, or pulling the strings on, maybe whatever that activity is or whatever this person's going through, it might be scaring this person, but they've got to face it with love. You just go ahead and do what you got to do anyway, because love prevails. Use your discernment there, folks. If there's red flags there, you want to be mindful of those. You don't want to just walk in through danger and say, I'm going to just go ahead and face it with love. No, if it's like a dangerous situation and you're seeing that it's dangerous and there's red flags there for a reason, you want to respect those. Not every situation is just going to be fixed by loving it. What else? The siren, as I said, these are all animals here on the end. I found that interesting. We've got the dogs, the little rodents, and the skunks. And I know that I've seen several dogs who just love to go after the squirrels. If it's a little mouse that runs by, it's like, oh my gosh, it's a new toy. Or the skunk, my goodness. Once you get sprayed by a skunk, you're like, okay, well, I got to go get that skunk. Not even considering the fact that the skunk, if it sprayed you once, it will spray you twice with nobody's problem, right? Nobody's. That is their business. They're going to spray somebody and make them really sorry and sad that they came after them, right? They're going to make them stink. We're cutting the sunshine, right? The sun, the illumination, the bright bubbly person. Maybe someone was trying to cut that short and make them look like they're the red flags, and that they're causing people to become spirits. They're causing maybe spiritual attacks. They're causing the presence of spirits. Mind you, there's 3 of them there, so it could have actually been a coven of 3 who are actually responsible for that. And we've got the 3 skunks down here as well. These skunks, mind you, are just minding their own business. Where you've got 1 rat, you've got a lot of rats. One of these coven members is surprised. One of them is happy it's all happening. Maybe they're the fan of whomever this is going through all this stuff, and they're like, wow, this person is really something. And then they've got one person that's sad because they can probably see what's about to come for them. They know their timing is ending. We've got our Red Rover card, the 2 teams. 1 team against an individual person is granted, is like exactly what it is. It's like a team of people against 1 person being called over to their side. And whatever it is that they're doing, it's coming back to them. It could be on the copycat individual that it's coming back on. And this person could be of curvy stature. It could have been maybe someone who had a birthday in the springtime. Maybe this whole plan was concocted in the springtime. Maybe they came up with the plan in spring, and then it was at its maturity point in the summertime, because that's the cycle of the watermelon. Someone is definitely in the frying pan. They've been cracked open in the frying pan. They're getting cooked, right? There's nothing worse than poop in the hot sun. It just stinks so bad. And now this person is going into the footsteps. Maybe someone dumped on somebody's child because it wasn't working on the individual that they were doing it to. Now they're doing it to their child, which is, I don't wish that on anybody. Once again today before the reading, I did light incense for love and a double dose of divine healing. I did 2 of those just to be able to heal the individuals that are in this storyline. That's important. Whomever this one who took a dump or is dumping on somebody's lawn or whatnot and being disrespectful is following in the footsteps perhaps of their mentor, and they're going to end up with that caged heart just as well. They're going to have to deal with this, the consequences of their choices. They wanted to trade places with someone who was maybe in a better pay grade than them. Maybe someone who was attracting love. They wanted to change places with that person. Maybe, as I said, in a place of employment, on the pay grade, because it's in between the ladders, the ladder and the lobster. Lobster is not a cheap item to purchase. It's usually one of the pricier things on the menu. And now they're questioning whether this was a good choice or not, all for the love of money, right? But now their money is being blocked and they don't understand. Maybe this person doesn't understand that it's because of how they treated this person who they thought was just an easy target, that they thought was naive, that they just, their karma is now happening. They've chosen their path and now they're heading down it. The siren causing the illusion. The siren could be someone who's not of the same nationality as you. This person who is pulling the strings is now looking at this person who, as a fan. Now they're like, wow, I was circulating all this BS about this person and the way they handled it. And I know I'm repeating, but the way they handled it, I'm seriously a fan of them. Got all directions. Alrighty, folks. Thanks for being here. I'm going to clean this up, and then we'll do another story using the word cards to either confirm or to add some detail. Thank you so much for being here. Take care and make it a great day.